All right. Okay. Welcome everybody to today's episode of the Experience series. And today we are going to discuss something wonderful. If you are someone who is looking to transfer, to continue your education, either in the United States of America or in Canada or any part of the world, not necessarily to end whatever credits that you've done in Ghana or wherever you find yourself in Africa or even anywhere at all in the world, and you just want to transfer your credit to continue your education, then you have come to the right podcast today, where we are going to dive deep into how someone was able to navigate through the system and be able to transfer her credit to a school in the United States of America and currently pursuing or continuing her education in a Bachelor of Science in Economics at a specific university she's going to mention. I don't want to be ahead of time. Yeah, so if you just tuned in, I want you to share the link with other people. Let them also come on board to come and listen to some of this very information that we are going to share. And not only this, but today I'm going to open your eyes to some of the things that some of the key information on campuses that some of us we neglect, and we just only focus on our academics or books when we are on campus. We don't explore. Okay, I remember there was a friend of mine who, when I was about to do my national service, she was in level 400. She had the opportunity to transfer or to travel to US to do one semester and then came back. And as I speak now, because she came here, went back to complete the program in UCC. Now she's pursuing a higher education, that is master's degree in the United States. So these are some of the key opportunities that are on campus that some of us, we don't run after, or we are not privy to. So we lose much information. Okay. And only when we are out of the school before we realize some of these things. So if you are watching us, I want you to share the link with someone. Let someone also come on board to come and listen to some of this information that we are going to share. And this information cut across people from the University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. These are the three schools that I know have these opportunities that I'm going to share with you, while my guest also shares some of these things with us. Okay, so bear in mind, and if I come across some of this very information or key or vital information on campuses like maybe UPSA or other universities in Nigeria and the rest, I will let you know so that you can also explore them. But all that I'm trying to say is that if you find yourself on campus and you are pursuing your bachelor's degree or your master's degree, all you need to do is not to only focus on the academics, but try to also involve yourself in extracurricular activities. Try to go to offices and seek some of the information that is hidden, okay? Because most of the information that will take us to the next step are hidden in somewhere in books or in someone's life or something, and you just need to explore. All right, so thank you very much and welcome to the 7th episode of the Experience series. Today we have a wonderful sister who she's going to share her journey with us. It is of like fortunate that we all bear the same surname, and I met this lady on LinkedIn, and that is how I try as much as possible not to just focus on my academics or not to focus on any other thing I'm doing, but to also build the networks. Okay. So today, our sister is going to share her journey with us, and we are going to learn how she was able to transfer from a university in Ghana to, I think, a university in Europe, and then from there move to a university in US. And as we speak, she's almost about to complete her bachelor's degree. So you can also do the same thing. All right, welcome on board, my sister. Can you introduce yourself shortly to our audience who are watching your beautiful face?
Thank you, Aaron. My name is Emanuela, and I am studying economics in Ball State University. I'm in my
All right.
senior year, actually, ready to graduate next year in May.
That's great. That's great. All right. So let's come back. I know right now you are in US. Let's come back to Ghana. When you were in Ghana, where were you and where did you do your high school? And then which university did you find yourself before we start with how you were able to even transfer to some parts of the world before you came to US?
Okay, so my journey began in Ghana. I went to Ghana National College. I completed in 2016. So when I completed Ghana National College, I went to the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana to write my ICA exam. That was where I was until I got to level 2, and I passed 2 papers, and then I moved to Gempa to start an undergrad in Gempa. So I was doing the CA alongside with the undergrad in Gempa. So by my second year in Gempa, I had passed 2 papers in level 3, ready to like finish the papers and then graduate as a chartered accountant. And I got an information from like my current husband, and then he was like, oh, and schools have like programs for like current students, like you can do a year abroad and come back, or there are chances for you to like transfer over to like universities outside. So I was privy to this information, and then I went to the study abroad department in Gempa to ask about it. And one thing that you have to know is you have to make sure that you have a very good GPA. So
Okay.
you have to make sure that your GPA is like 3.0 and above, because even if they are doing this study abroad for you, they look at GPA. Mostly Ghana, we don't really have like programs on campus like the way we do have here in the United States, but
All right.
GPA really matters. So as the time that I was looking for these opportunities, my GPA was around 3.6. And then I went to the study abroad department and I asked them about it. Thankfully, there was a summer school program in Denmark, and
Okay.
it was just 14 days. So I was like,
So
okay.
it was 14 days to end the application, or the program is 14 days, like
The
the
program
duration.
is just 14 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so I learned about the program in February, and the program was in August. So it's like we had time to do the application process and then go through the visa process and everything. So that was when I got to know about it. So your school would also have to do like a background check your GPA, check with your lecturers to see how your performance are and all that. So you have to make sure that you are somebody who is very, very like academically you are trying, or
You are improving.
recommend you for these kind of programs. So after they did their background check and everything, they called me. I had to fill a form. I had to apply for my transcripts through Gampa. I did all that, and then they applied for me. So I didn't really know the process for the
So
summer school because
I'm coming. So who did the application for you? Is it your school, or
yeah,
your school did the application?
yes,
So
the
is your
study
the
abroad
study
department
abroad
did it for me.
department in Gimpa? So
Yes,
as at that time, which level were you?
I was in level 200.
Level 200, and your program is for 4 years.
Yes, it's for 4 years.
Okay, so now you got this very information, and what we are talking about, like what Ella is explaining over here, she is talking about the Gempa. but I know a friend who also did the same thing, who was in UCC. And as we speak now, the person traveled to US at Bardeen-Wallace University to do a 1 semester because UCC had an affiliation with Bardeen-Wallace, and not only Bardeen-Wallace, but there are a lot of schools in the US and across the globe that UCC has an affiliation with. Every public university or even private universities in Ghana has an affiliation with some like universities abroad. Yes. So all they do is they try to, network. Like the same way I was on campus and I saw some Americans or some Germans in my school. They came to study. It's not like they love our, education system or something. It's just a transfer. So it's like a barter trade. So I'm giving you some of my students, my best students. You also giving me some of your students. Let them come and explore their cultures. And these are things that are hidden and no one tells you. Yes. I didn't come across this information.
Nobody tells UC campus. You have to go to the office to ask.
Right.
And it's even the same way here. Nobody tells you anything. You have to read, find out, and go there to ask.
Exactly.
So it's like there is information, but then nobody will actually tell you that this is it. You have to go and find out.
Right. So what this lady did, she like Ella rightly said, her GPA was good. So she went to them, and then luckily for her, it was like just 3 people who, knew about this very information. So there were just 3 that came and they put in the application and it worked. And then she had to travel. The only thing she had to pay was a flight ticket, her accommodation, her food, everything. And even when she came to campus, she had the opportunity to work 20 hours every week. Yes. And after that 1 semester came back and like it was so great. Okay, so now Ella, now they put in the application. Let's take it up from there. So after the application, you were still schooling, right? With GIMPA.
Yes.
Not that you stopped. You were still schooling.
Yes, because that one was just a summer school program. So during the application time, and then the lady told me that they have an affiliation with a school in France called Sciences Po. So and then they will also be taking exchange students also in August. So if I don't mind, she's going to do that application for me in addition to the Denmark summer school. So from Denmark, I'll just move to France for the exchange program. And then I'll just come back to do my studies.
And I'm like, an angel.
Yes. Yeah. So I told her, but initially she was like, okay, there's a little problem because all the people that had gone, they gave them funding. But then this time around, she doesn't know if they are going to approve the funding or not. And I'm like, still, I'll give it a try. Because you never know what is going to happen if you don't give it a try. So I told her I'm going to put in my application and then give it a try. And then she did both applications for me. I went through, so they sent me the admission letter. And then I had to start with my visa process. So for the visa process, I did everything myself. I went on their website. I read whatever I needed to do. I attached it, and then I went to submit it at VFS.
So that's for Denmark.
Yes, that's for Denmark.
Okay. So they approved your visa?
Yes, they did.
Okay, great. So
it was and the visa for Denmark was only for like the time frame of your study. They don't really, for European visas, they don't really give you like Canada that maybe if you apply for a visitor's visa, they'll give you the number of years in your passport. They give us just the specified time for my study. So that was
so if I got you right, the summer was 14 days. So they gave you a visa for just 14 days.
14 days, yes.
So now when you were doing the application, let's go back to when you were doing the application, did you have to submit a statement of purpose? Did you have to write some essays yourself, or the study abroad department handle everything?
I wrote an essay. I wrote a statement of intent and then a statement of purpose for the applications. Yeah. So they asked me to write that and bring it, and then they took my passports and then my transcripts.
Okay, fantastic. So now when you go to Denmark, you had just 14 days.
Yes.
What happened? Tell us briefly what happened in Denmark. Now you have moved from Ghana, so now we have left Ghana behind. We are now in
before
Denmark.
I moved to Denmark, I had my France visa too. I got everything before I left.
Oh, so when you got your Denmark visa,
Yes.
the lady that did the application for the school in France
Mm.
too, you had already gotten an admission and everything from the university in
Yes.
France.
Yes. So as at the time
As
I
a
was
transfer.
going, yes, as at the time I was going for my France visa interview, I had my Denmark visa. So even the consular asked me that you have a visa for Denmark that you haven't used, and I explained to her that I have to go for a study abroad for 14 days in Denmark. And then after that, I'll move to France for this exchange program. And because of that, they have to make my application very early because the time was, it was closer.
Mm,
Yes.
mm.
So I stated that to her and she's like, okay, she will let the consular know. So as at the time I was going for my France visa, I had my Denmark visa already. And
Wow,
then if you
congratulations.
want to do your France study abroad, you go through Campus France.
Okay.
Yes, so
Yeah.
they would help you to book an appointment with the embassy and then you go for your visa. So you do
All right.
everything through Campus France. So even though my school did the application and everything, after I got my admission letter, I now had to work with Campus France.
France for
Yes,
everything. So
for
now,
every.
before you left Ghana, you have a Denmark visa for
Mhm.
14 days and you
Yes,
have a France visa. How long
for
was the
one
France
year.
visa?
It was
For
for
one
1 year.
year.
Yes.
Okay. So now, when you move to Denmark, now let's leave Ghana. When you move to Denmark, you went there for a study abroad for 14 days.
Yes.
Briefly tell us what happened there and then how you transitioned from Denmark to France.
Okay.
Then now we'll pick it from France to US because I know from France you didn't go back to Ghana. So
No,
from France you move all the way to US.
to
So
US,
from
yes.
Ghana to Denmark from Denmark to France and then to US. All right. So tell us briefly about Denmark.
Okay, so when we went to Denmark and then we started the study abroad, the summer school program, I saw like a lot of people from other countries and it was so interesting. So I was already anticipating that my study abroad in France would be the same way. So it was very interesting. And I went with a few people. We were about 6 in total from Gimpa. So
Okay.
it wasn't like a lonely journey and it made it
Mm,
interesting because after we normally go for class at 8 and our class usually ended at 12 Monday to Thursdays. So whenever
mm,
we close, we go to the malls together. We pick um, the the train system is called tram. So we pick the tram and then we alight at the malls and then we go. Sometimes we do window shopping, and if sometimes if you can afford, you just buy. But the Denmark currency and then the Ghanaian currency is just like a CD difference. So it wasn't really something that you have to scream about. So if you're buying something in Denmark for like 11 Danish krona, it's like 12 Ghana cedis.
oh,
Yes.
interesting. I
Yeah,
mean,
it wasn't so
this is my first time
expensive.
hearing it.
Yes, it wasn't very, very expensive. So it made things easier. Like we could buy a few things, do a few shopping, explore the city, and it was very
Mm,
lovely because we
okay.
were like together. And one thing that helped was because we were together, we booked an Airbnb for the accommodation and then we shared the price.
Okay. So if I get you right, the only thing the school did for you, as in Gimpa did for you, was to put in the
The
application.
application,
Now,
yes.
every expenses that was coming along the journey was
Mhm.
bought by you, right?
Yes, it was borne by me.
All right. And then now when you got to Denmark, you were done with the Denmark for 14 days.
Yes.
Was it something that is in relation to your program? What program were you reading in Gimpa?
I was doing BSc Procurement, Logistics and Supply Chain Management.
Okay, and what you did the 14 days in Denmark, was it relating to that?
It wasn't, what we did was about negotiation. Yeah, it was about
Okay,
negotiation. So it's just like an additional, I personally needed a travel experience because
okay,
I made up my mind that even after Gempa, I wanted to travel to either the US or Europe for my master's. So it's like
okay,
I already had that mindset and I started working towards it.
mm,
Yes,
great.
so that travel experience
Right. She
to
had that mindset, and that is one thing that you need to take note of.
yes,
Our world that we find ourselves, everything that you are today is because of your mindset that you had yesterday.
Yes.
So always make sure that you have a positive mindset. And that is one thing I keep saying, that the same time you use to dwell on the negative, why don't you use the same time to dwell on the positive?
Perfect.
For all you might know, the positive will come to you instead of you to dwell on the negative. So have that mindset, have that goal. Whoever is watching us, I know definitely if you are watching this podcast, it's not for anything. You can't just waste your data. And I really appreciate you joining us. And if you are watching us right now, it means that you have that, intrinsic motivation to pursue a higher education in the US or any part of the world. And that is why we normally come every Saturday to share some of these experiences. I don't know Ella from anywhere, but we met on LinkedIn, and today she's here sharing her experiences with us. And tomorrow you might also make it, and then you'll come to my channel, and you'll be able to also share your experience to also motivate someone else to also take up that mantle to pursue a higher education. So now, Ella, when you go to Denmark, you are done with everything. Then from there, you transition to France.
Yes.
Okay, so when you go into France, did you move with the other 6, or they have to return back to Ghana and you moved alone?
They had to return back to Ghana because they didn't apply for the exchange program in France. So I had to go alone. And then before I got there was one other person already in France who was doing his exchange and had finished 1 semester. So during the time I was going, that was his last semester.
Okay. And then also a Ghanaian from Gimpa,
yes,
or from a different school?
From Gimpa.
Great. So now, one of the things I want you to note, you see, Ella was very smart. And because Ella got information, now she went to Denmark with these other 6 Ghanaians for that 14 days. Now, after that, because Ella has a privy info, she was able to move on to France. They have to return back to Ghana. If they had also gotten this very information, I'm sure definitely they would have also been able to move with you.
Yes,
and maybe for all you might know, they said they didn't know. So this is some of the reasons, why we mostly come on your way every Saturday to come and then share some of these very information with you. I know as we speak now, the Freddy First, my good brother, is having a live session. Izube will also be having live session, or maybe he has started already. And some other people who create study abroad content are having live session. And all these people are bringing information. See, if you are going to take your time and say that, okay, every weekend, I'm going to find myself getting some of this very information, it will shock you. It was out of an information I shared that one person was able to get an opportunity, and the person has now gotten a visa approved, coming to teach in the US on a J1 visa. So everything that we do on this is about information. Don't sit down and don't be focusing on one way. Like, don't let your life be one way. If you are watching us and you are currently in school, level 100, 200, 300, or even 400, still make sure you find information on campus. I know UCC has an international office. KNUST also have an international office. University of Ghana also has an international office. Go to these very offices and ask them about opportunities if they have affiliations with universities across the globe that you want to go and explore, other culture. It is not a crime. They have an affiliation with them. It's a partnership. So they will even be happy to even help you. And like Ella said, the school have to do the applications on her behalf. The only thing she has to do was to just provide the documents. So thank you very much. So Ella, now when you move to, tell us about France, then now we will transition to how you were able to do it to US.
So when I got to France, actually, I was supposed to be given funding because the exchange program is fully funded. You don't pay tuition. You actually pay your tuition back in Gimpa to show that you are still a student. So they pay for your stay, during your stay, and then your flight tickets back in and out. So I didn't know about that. And the lady actually told me that there should be funding. But when I got my admission, they didn't add the funding. So for the first semester, I had to fund everything myself. So when I got there, I asked the guy, the other Ghanaian guy, that the funding, which office actually gives the funding. So he's like, oh, he doesn't even know. He came with his admission when he applied, they added it. So he doesn't really know what where it's coming from. So how I got my funding was the second semester. Somebody was also coming to do exchange program in France.
Okay.
And then the lady that did my application linked me to him that, oh, if he needs anything, he should contact me. So I was there, and then he sent me an email that, oh, they asked him to sign for something for funding. And I'm like, I didn't do that. So I didn't do that. So I can't tell you what I haven't done. So I told him to send me a screenshot of the email. When he sent me a screenshot of the email, that was when I found out the department in my school that is giving out the funding.
Wow.
And then I emailed them my name, my details, and everything. And I told them that I didn't get the funding when I was coming, but it seems like my other colleagues also got it. So I just wanted to clarify. That was when they told me that they are very sorry, they made a mistake and it was an oversight.
Wow.
Yes.
Thousands of Ghana cedis gone, and it was an oversight.
It was
Wow.
an oversight. So when it got to my turn, it's an oversight. So I told them it's not any, it's fine. So they gave me the whole amount of money that I was entitled to. The whole amount of money, it was about 5,000 euros.
Wow.
They gave me everything in the second semester. So
In the
they
second
asked,
semester.
yes, for a few documentation, and then they refunded the money to me. So it's like basically I got my funding.
You got your wow. Wow,
Yes.
interesting. We bless God. So your stay in France was fully covered. It was only your flights. It was only your flights you had to pay yourself.
Yes.
So
And even with the funding that they give you, they pay for your flight and everything. So they made me send my flight ticket to them, and then they paid for it.
wow.
Yes.
So fully covered to
Fully covered.
steady in France. Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting. So if you're watching us and you are a student of GamePad, then there's a good news for you. You have to explore that opportunity. Don't sit down. These are and like Ella said, they said it's an oversight. The money is there. It's not like the money is not there.
For the money there, it is there. If you don't ask, nobody will give it to you. I had to send several emails. In my first semester, I was sending emails out, but it looks like I was sending it to the wrong people. So even though they will respond, they'll be like, oh, like we don't know about it. And sometimes I'm like, am I doing too much? But you don't have to curve yourself. You don't speak out. Do you get it? Speak out and you find help, definitely.
That's it. Speak out and you'll find help. Now that is the same thing that happens when you're even applying to schools in the US. I know people who come and DM you, oh, does this school give scholarship? That this school does this and all that stuff. Then I'll tell them, hey, I'm not in that school, so you need to email them. Talk to the people. See, when I was in Ghana, one of the things that I was doing before you come in, Ella, one of the things that I was doing was I would do MTN IDD bundle. And if it's this school I want to go, I'll check the admissions office, the financial office, and I'll call them.
Don't email them. Yes.
I'm not sending email because email, you will tell me it's an oversight. A lot of people are sending emails. So I'll take up my phone, and this time around, I'll check the time zone and make sure that it's maybe in the morning around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. when people are in the offices. And I'll call them and I'll tell them, okay, I'm a prospective student, so and so and so. I hope this qualification, and I want to apply for this program. I've seen this, it's very interesting, and I want to come. Do you guys offer scholarships or others? And they will send you link. It will shock you. They will take your email, and now they will be bombarding you with links.
Yes.
And it will shock you the messages they will be sending you.
I'll come to that when I'm talking about my journey to the United States.
That's great. So please make sure that you don't sit down. Make sure you fight for it. Like, try and be eager to get information. Don't sit down. All right. So let's talk about, now you were done with France. So did your France transcript was it added up to the one in GamePad?
Yes. So
okay.
This is how my journey to the United States started. It was when I got to like ending of March, and then I sat down, I'm like, do I really want to go back? Looking at the experience that I had. But one thing that I'm very thankful is, if I had studied in the United States, I should have gone back, because if you study in the United States as an exchange student, you cannot transfer to another school. You would have to go back, finish your school, and then
Right.
come back later. You have to go back
Exactly.
to your home country for 2 years and then come back.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So when I was in France, I actually started looking for schools in France, because in France you can actually transfer to another school. But then they are
Oh.
like, no, they don't do transfer. So you have to start from level 100. And I'm like, no, I don't think I have the energy for that.
So it's like you have wasted 3 years.
No,
Just like
I
that.
don't have the energy. I did a lot of
Research.
inquiries. I didn't get any school. I did inquiries in Germany, and before I even started my studies in Gempa, I got an admission to a school in Berlin,
Okay.
and I had funding, but then the funding was small, and the money that I had to pay was too much. So upon the like I know I checked and I'm like, no, I can't fund this, and I can't do something that I would be stuck in the middle. So my mom was
Right.
like, let's just do the game part and then
Mm.
go to the game part and let's see what will happen. So we we started with the game part, and then the breakthrough started from the game part. So
Wow.
whichever way, you still have to. And before then, when I completed SHS, I got admission to 2 schools in the United States. But I actually didn't even know that if you hadn't written SAT, you wouldn't get full funding. And nobody also told me. I got partial funding. My dad was like, it's too expensive. But because we were not privy to all this information.
Mm.
So he's like, oh, it's too expensive. And then I had to just leave it, start my ICA, and then eventually go to Gempa. And then I came. So when I was in France and then I did the United States, and then my mom was like, hey, United States again. So let me start with how I got my admission.
All right.
Well, I subscribed to a newsletter to get like
Okay.
schools that give scholarships. So every month I get that. So in February I got, I was like, oh, you people cry, you people like this. I wanted to unsubscribe. And so I
Mm.
was like, oh, just leave it. So I just left it. And then somewhere in March, when I decided to do the study abroad, I applied to Georgia State.
Okay.
They asked that I bring SAT, else they wouldn't be able to give me the admission. I said, I don't have SAT. I was like, okay, let me leave it. If that is your requirement, I don't have it. And I just
All
left
right.
it. So I
That's
went
it.
through the newsletter and then I found Ball State.
Mm.
When I found Ball State, I actually called them because me, I'm not an email person. Call me old school. I like it like that. I actually called them to ask, I want to apply to your school, this and this, what are your requirements? So I told them, and then they told me the requirements, and I'm like, okay. So I went to the school's website, I read.
Mm.
I want to use this platform to advise people that stop putting your lives in the hands of agents, in the hands of people to do your application for you, because you can do it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
read. I mean, I read
All right.
every single information on the school's website.
Great.
That was how I got to know that I can actually apply as a transfer student and not a freshman.
Mm.
So when I was
So
starting the application, they said first time freshman or something, or
yeah, freshman,
transfer
first time
student or graduate student. So I read, what are the requirements for a freshman?
a
I said,
transfer.
I think I'm above this. And then I went to
Mm.
look at the transfer. They said, even if you have attended universities and you haven't even graduated, you can
Mm.
just send your transcript in addition to your application, and they'll evaluate you and give you admission. And I was like, oh, nice.
Wow.
But initially, I wanted to go to Canada.
Okay.
I chose a few schools. I called them and they said, no, they don't do transfer. I would actually have to start from level 100. And I'm like, no, I don't have the strength to start from level 100. So when I found out that the United States actually take transfer students, I hopped on the opportunity.
Mm.
And I read every
Mm.
single thing. When I was going through my application, if I don't understand anything, I pause, I call them, they go through with me, and then I continue the process, because I feel
That's
like
it.
to take long. I need
Right.
urgent
You
response.
need, yeah.
Couldn't sit down and say, "Oh, I'm waiting for emails or something." So I actually called them, and then so back to my process. I applied
Mm-hmm.
as a transfer student, and then I got to the application fee. So I
Okay.
called them again, and they're like, "Oh, they don't have application fee for waivers for undergrad."
Whoever.
So I'm like, okay. I went back to the portal, and then I read on the portal that they had a few people that they were giving waivers to.
Mm.
So I looked at it, I'm like, which of these can I fall into? Some were for people that have seek asylum, and I found out that there was a space for financial need. I'm like, yes, I can
Mm.
use financial need because I can afford to pay
Right. Right.
$50 application
They
fee.
don't they don't know your bank account. So even if you say financial need, you just have to prove that you can't pay the application fee.
Thank you. So I chose the financial need, and now they asked for a bank statement. So what I did was I took a bank. I had a bank statement that there were less funds, and I uploaded it for them.
Mm.
So I was there. It took like 2 days, and I got my admission.
Mm. So you
But
didn't pay application fee.
yes, I didn't pay. I didn't have to pay because I uploaded the bank statement. I chose the
Bank
financial
statement.
need, and I uploaded a bank statement to show that yes, I really I'm financially in need. So they
Yeah.
waived it for me, and then I got my admission. So
Great.
throughout this process, it was communication. I was
Mm.
calling them, and the funny thing was when I got here, everybody knew my name.
Wow. Even
Yes.
when before you got, I mean, when you got to campus, everybody knew your name
Yes, they
because
knew
you
my
were
name.
calling,
The admission
because you
team.
were.
I intentionally went there to greet my DSO because I got her something. So when I got there, she
Mm.
was like, Emanuela, it's so nice to meet you finally in person.
That's great, and that is one thing that I love about. I mean, most of
Yeah,
the Americans, they are
yeah,
very lovely,
very
and they
lovely.
they 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 don't discriminate. No
Exactly.
matter your color, they will never discriminate you,
They're very
even if you
lively.
are very bad. Like I really love. I mean, Americans. Most of the Americans. I'm not saying they are everyone. There are some of them that are exceptional, but there are most of the people I've
Most of
met,
them.
like they are very lovely. My DSO, for instance,
Mhm.
very good. Audrey, a lot of, I mean, Sierra, talk about Jessica and the rest. Like back home, you were communicating with them, and even when you got here, you could see how close they are,
Yeah.
making sure they are checking up, and then I mean, you are in good standing. So
Yes.
now, after you've gotten the admission, did they come with funding, or do you apply for funding separately?
Admission came with partial funding because I didn't have SAT. And one thing about the United States is if you don't have SAT for undergrad, you wouldn't get the full funding. You would
That's
get
right.
partial.
You will get it for sure. Okay, so
Yeah.
now when your I-20 was issued to you, how much deficit did you have on the I-20
I had about 32,000 US dollars.
deficit?
Yes.
That's how much you pay for the next 2 year for 1 year, right? Because
Yes, for
I-20
one
comes
year.
1 year. All
Yes.
right. And now when you were transferring, so you were going to continue from level 200 or 300 or 400?
Yes. I continued from level 300
Level 300.
because of the
Okay.
credits that were transferred. So one thing that you could also do was they have other programs here that I could have even done, and then I should be doing my masters by now. But
Wow.
I'm very particular about my undergrad. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that because my school here, they have a program called Bachelor of Science in General Studies. And the
Mm.
general studies is just like doing the university core curriculum and then just graduating. And because I came in with more credit, I could have done the university core curriculum in like 2 semesters and just graduate.
Graduate.
Yes. But
Mm.
I'm like, do I really need a bachelor's in general studies? No, I don't. So
Mm.
I
Okay.
was very, very particular. I explored other majors like business analytics. That was going to take me like 3 years. I checked there was one I checked operations management. That was also going to take me like 3 years. I checked
Mm.
mathematical economics. That was also going to take me like 2.5 semesters. So it was the
Mm.
economics that was giving me a shorter time frame, and I'm like, yes, I'm going in for it. because as a business student, getting a degree in economics is not a bad decision.
Okay, so let's explore this Ball State University. So those of you who are watching us, this Ball State University, and that is currently the school that Ella find herself, and she's pursuing Bachelor of Science in Economics, and she went as a transfer student. She went as a transfer student. So check it out, and she's currently enjoying some scholarships, and it will come to that. Some of the scholarships that you didn't even have before you moved to Ball State, and then now when you go to campus, some of the opportunities you've gotten and everything. So how is it like when you were going for your visa interview? Was it tough in France, or how was it like when you got to, I mean, the visa interview stage? Before now, we'll come to US, and then we'll now ask some of the audience to come and ask you some questions or general questions that will be. But once we move on, I'll be sharing the link that you can use to request to come live, to come and ask Ella your question. And if you don't want to come live too, you can share your questions in the comment section, and I'll project it, and Ella will be glad to answer you. All right, so talk to us about your visa interview.
Okay, so I would say the preparation process was more difficult than the interview itself, because I was asking myself, what questions are they going to ask me? So I had to call my school several times, because I read every single thing on my I-20, because I didn't want a situation whereby the visa officer would mention something on my I-20 and I wouldn't be able to defend it, and he would, based on that, to deny me. I read on every single thing, every single number on the I-20. If I don't understand, I will call the school, ask them for clarification. So one thing that I did was I called them and I was like, I'm actually a transfer student and I don't think I'll be doing 4 years. So why is the date on my I-20 for 4 years? And so I asked them, when I'm filling my DS 160, should I actually say I'm a transfer student? And they said it's up to me. If I want to state that I'm a transfer student, I can do that. But currently, all my credits have been transferred. And I'm like, okay, then I will play along with the visa officer, because the course that the exchange program that I did in France, they gave me a diploma, they gave me a certificate for that. So I stated on my DS 160 that I just finished my diploma and I'm coming here to do my undergrad. So I didn't state that I'm a transfer student.
Oh, okay.
Because the number of years was 4 years. So I played along with that.
With
Even
that,
though
that's
I knew
great.
that I wouldn't stay for the 4 years.
That's great. So when you went for your visa interview, what were do you remember some of the questions you were asked briefly?
Yes,
Then we moved to when you go to US. Yeah, so share with us.
So
What was the question you were asked?
the first question I was asked is which school am I going to? And then I told them, and then he asked of my program. It was a very friendly one. And then he asked of my program, and I said, and then he asked who is funding. So my sponsors were my mom and then my sister. So I told him that, okay, my mom is funding, and then my sister, this is what they do, this is how much they earn. And I even forgot myself. So I ended it there. And then he was looking at it. So he came to ask me again, do you know anybody in the United States? And I said no. And then he came back to say, he mentioned a few names that were similar to my surname. And I said, I don't know anybody. Then he came back to ask me, what does your mom do? And I told him again. I told him what my sister also do, how much they earn. And I also forgot myself and I left it there. Then he was looking at the system and he was nodding his head. So he actually came again to ask me another person's name. And I'm like, no, I don't know the person. So finally he came back and he said, in 2014, somebody filed for a green card for me. And like, it's like kind of a petition. And I'm like, I don't know anybody in the United States. And as at 2014, I didn't have a passport. So that was when he was like, okay, let me see your passport. And then he took my passport and he looked at it and the date was in 2018. So that means I'm not lying. So whenever you go for visa interviews, don't be timid. Because I remember
they sometimes try to play with your mind.
Yes, he was trying to play with my mind, because I remember before I went for my interview, I was a bit anxious, and my mom was like, as you are going, be bold. If they mention any name you don't know, speak out. Don't go and stand there and be quiet, because she has been to a few visa interviews and she knows how it is. So she's like,
Mm.
don't go and stand there and then accept anything that is not true. So
Right.
when he kept saying that, it dawned in my head, and I'm like, I don't know anybody. And then when he said that, I said, as at 2014, I didn't have a passport. And if somebody was filing for me as at that time, I would have gone. But I don't know
Mm.
anybody. And then he looked at my passport and he's like, okay, your visa has been approved. So I think if I
Wow.
hadn't been able to explain that part very well, he would have denied me.
Your visa, right? Okay, that's good news. So you got your visa approved, and then now you moved to the US, and
Yes.
currently, like we said, Ella is pursuing a bachelor's degree in economics. So how many years have you done so far in Ball State?
I would say I've done this, I guess, was a year, because
Okay,
I came last year. So
you
this,
came
I
last
guess,
year.
will be like a year. Yeah.
Okay, so
So I'm
now when you
currently
were going for,
doing my third semester. I didn't take classes in the summer. If I had taken classes in the summer, I would be graduating this December. But then I didn't take
okay,
summer classes. I just wanted to take off some time and then relax and get time
so
for me.
summer you were trying to gather some few coins there, here and
Yeah,
there.
you know.
And then getting some internship opportunities. That's very good. All
Yeah.
right. So now when you moved before you moved to US,
Mhm.
in your DS1 state, did you state were you married by then, or when you were traveling from Ghana? Because you mentioned your husband something something. So
Yeah.
were you married then
No,
before
I
you
wasn't.
moved?
I wasn't. It was after
Okay.
I came here and then I went back. I went back home in December to get married and then I came back. So after that time, I wasn't married.
So you mean when you got to US, you went back last December?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Congratulations on the marriage
Thank you.
and for your new home. All right. So
Thank
that's good. So now tell us, I mean, briefly, uh, some of the key things you think that helped you. And even when you got, okay, before you talk about the key things that helped you, now let's talk about some of the opportunities you have enjoyed so far when you got to campus.
Okay, so I would say that there were a lot of opportunities here.
Mm.
So when I got here, I didn't even know, I was trying to find like more funding to cover my deficits.
All right.
Because I had about like 7,000 to pay for every semester. So I was always on the university's website looking for money. Because
Mm.
nobody will come and tell you that this is money, come for it. Nobody will do.
Right.
And even if you found the information and you've gone to their office, they would want you to show them proof.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the money is there. So I was trying to look for like other funding to cut down my deficit. And then whenever I find an information, I go to the financial aid office and then I talk to them. So thankfully, my department has a lot of funding. Depending on the
Mm.
major that you are doing, they have funding for every student. And I didn't know about it. So there was a time I was there and I was like, don't this department, whenever I go to financial aid, they'll tell me, go to your department. And I'd already
Mm.
been there and they were telling me, oh, I didn't apply early and they finished sharing the funding and all that. In my head, I'm like, why would you finish sharing the funding? I will not understand. So I initially you have to book an appointment to meet with your dean. But
Okay.
I didn't know how to. I was a new student. Nobody taught me how to book an appointment and all that. I was like, appointment there, betche. And if I say, okay, I want to meet with the dean, these student receptionist people that they've made up themselves like security people, this will not allow me to meet with her.
Right.
So I strategically positioned myself.
Mm.
Every day I'll go and sit in front of her office. There is a seat in front of her office, and every day I'll go and sit there. I don't even know her in person, but every day I'll go and sit in front of the office, and then I'll be monitoring the people moving in and out to see
Mm.
maybe if I can figure her out. So there was the third day that I went to sit there. I'm like, see, today, there, whatever will happen, will happen. So as I was entering, I didn't even know that she was behind me. So I was opening the door and then she was also trying to open the door. So I was like, "Oh, I'm very sorry. You can go first." And she's like, "Oh no, you're such a nice person. Who are you coming to look for?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know her name." So I said,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm here to meet with the dean." And she's like, "That would be me." I just screamed in my head, "Thank you, Jesus." I could see the student receptionists, they had frowned their face in my head. I'm like, "Yeah, you are not the one I'm coming to see. Oh. So whatever you want
exactly.
to do, you can do." So I went to meet with her. I spoke to her and I'm like, "I'm a new student. I'm just trying to find funding. I'm not saying like the university should pay everything, but something small to support me." And every time I
Right.
go to the financial aid office, they say I should come to my department. And whenever I go to the success department, they said the funding is finished. And she was like, "Oh, okay, then come with me." So when she said I
Mm,
should come with her, you know this Ghanaian thing that wako baby yashone, you don't want to go there again. Like you feel
right.
so shy to go to the same place twice.
Exactly.
As I was going with her, she was taking me to that same office that they said they finished sharing the
The,
funding.
the funding.
I wanted to run away, honestly. I wanted to run because I'm like, I've been there like several times and I don't want anybody to
Mhm.
come and scream on me. So she was like, "Oh," I told her, "Oh, even where you are taking me to have been there." She was like, "Don't worry, just come with me." So I
Mm,
went with her. And when we got there, she didn't even let me speak. She just told them, find funding for her. And it was
mm.
like, it's like they've put pressure on them. They were just sending me emails every single day. "We are working on your funding. We'll get back to you when we get a response. We are working." It's like they've put pressure on them.
Right.
So just imagine if I took this Ghanaian attitude like, "Hey, me dear," as I when they say no,
Be my small
uh,
shell and let me
yes,
just
you
be
live in your
there.
own small shell. Nobody will mind you. You will pay the money yourself.
Right.
Even though
Right.
I was getting a little support from home, but I'm like, at least my parents can save that money. You
Money.
get,
Yeah.
yeah, if there's free money, I will go for it because they can
Now,
also
so
save it.
that is great. So,
Yeah.
so that is one thing I want to tell each and everyone. See, there are a lot of opportunities when you come to universities in the US.
Yes.
Almost everyone has an endowment and they
Yes.
have monies in their coffers.
Mhm.
They have allocations for monies for every semester. Now,
Yes.
one of the things that you want to be very careful, and that's why I always urge people that apply before the priority deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every year they have a budget that they give to international students or into, I mean, scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
It sometimes happens that, okay, for instance, maybe last year we budgeted for maybe 20 million. Out of these
Yes.
20 million, we didn't get a lot of people. So maybe only 10 million was used. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the next year, when they budget for another 20 million and a lot of people are able to apply, it will even shock you that they might even go beyond because maybe last year we didn't use much of the funds. So okay,
Yes.
this year let's try and then increase intake. So you don't know when your luck might shine over there. So I
That's
always urge people that ask for the information and the information be knocking at their doors. Don't sit down.
always go there. See,
Be
always
knocking.
I say that no is also an answer. Don't feel bad if they say no. But one
Right.
thing about me is if you say no, that is not the answer I'm expecting. So I will keep knocking until you say yes.
Exactly.
So
So
even
so
if I come
so
and you say no, I will still keep coming until you get tired of me and you say, "Okay, we'll give it to you," so that we wouldn't see your face here again.
that is it. And now you've gotten that scholarship you wanted, right?
Yes. And I know a few people who even came here to do their masters, they didn't have funding, but once they got here, they got funding. So don't
Mm,
let it discourage you that, okay, I got admission, I didn't get funding, so I'm not going. If you can get a family member's statement to support you, please do. Get
right.
the statement, get here. Even if you get here, it shows that this person is very serious. Trust me, when you get here, you will get all the necessary help that you need.
Mm. Thank
It's
you very
just a
much for
bold
sharing.
step that you have to take that bold step.
And I think last 3 weeks or last 4 weeks, there was one friend of mine who is currently pursuing a PhD at Texas Tech University. He actually went for his interview in Cote d'Ivoire. with zero funding, zero scholarship, and he got the visa approved. Came to the US early, or when you get your visa, you can only move here 30 days to the start of your program. Now he moved here, I think, when he had 25 days more. And then he went to the school, he went to Texas Tech and met the programs director and told the program director that, see, I have traveled to Cote d'Ivoire to go and do my visa interview and I've gotten it. And today I'm here. I'm here on a purpose to get scholarship.
Yes.
So if you guys can help me. And it was like, oh, we've shared all the scholarship, but let's see what we can do. Yes. And you, for now, no, if we can't even give you that scholarship, we are going to let you pay institution. You're not going to pay like you are an international student.
You have to.
So they did that one.
That is one thing. You have to let them know your problem, because nobody knows what is in your. If you don't speak to them, who would know what you are going through? You have to let them know, because there was one lady that was, before she got here, she was sending me messages. I'm like, see, once you got your visa approved, my advice for you, if you can get here early, do, because people will get admission with funding, they will refuse it. Somebody might not even get visa to come.
The visa.
Give it to you. So once you get your admission, come very early. Every day, go and see your department chair. Wherever the money is, he will find one for you.
I told you. And this guy,
she emailed them that they should send her the courses to register, and they are like, is she very serious? She's like, yes, she's already in the state. And they're like, oh, then they'll try and find funding for her, so she should hold on, they'll get back to her. So she said when they sent her the email, they told her that most people, when they get the admission, they don't get funding, they don't come. That is why if you also get admission, you don't get funding, and you keep emailing them, they wouldn't mind you, unless they get to know that, yes, you are very serious. So don't let the funding discourage you. The funding might come later on. Maybe it's just a test. God is even testing you to see whether you have faith. He's trying to test you to see, even if you believe in him, that, oh, you say, oh, nyame be, but when you're funding, we'll say, oh, process nibium.
So this guy got here.
Yes, even if you don't get the funding, still come and talk to them. The little that they can do for you, they will do it for you. And trust me, you'll get all the help you need. You wouldn't be left stranded. And when you come, when you get here, every time I've been saying that because abrofo almost fans. When they do something for you, they want everybody to know that they've done something for you. Ghanaians, we don't like that. If you've done something for me, why do you want to go and spread it? That's how they are. That's some of the cultural shock. That is how they are. So if they do something for you and then they are letting people know, or other departments know, don't feel shy at all. No, don't feel shy. So as you are coming here, if you don't have funding, I would encourage you, go ahead with your process. If you get approved, come early. You can even come before the 30 days, but there is a rule to it. You have to make sure that you email your DSO to let her know that you are arriving maybe on this date. So that when the port of entry, you get because at the port of entry, if you are entering before the 30 days that you are allowed to, they will call your DSO to find out if they really know that you are coming. And make sure you have accommodation. So you talk about all that with your DSO, and then you can come in early, because I know a few people who actually came in early. So at the port of entry, they asked them why are they said, oh, they even told the DSO that they would be coming in early. She never mentioned the 30 days, so they didn't also know. So they said, okay, wait. They kept them a few minutes. They made few calls. They asked with the school. They said yes. They spoke to them. Their accommodation is ready. They just made them enter. So even if you want to come before the 30 days, email your DSO. Let her know your date of arrival so that you wouldn't have any problem at the port of entry.
All right. So Nyame Kofi Jr., what is the meaning of DSO? So DSO is designated school official. So it's someone, when you get your admission to a US school and you are starting your, I-20 processes. So there is someone that the school will give to you. They work in the international office and they work with international students. So that is designated school official. This person is like your first point of contact in the US. So anything at all, you have to communicate with this person. If it is about funding, communicate with the person. If the person have affiliations or networks or other places that you can get the scholarship, they will let you know.
Yes.
Anything, even if you are here as an international student and you have to travel back to wherever you are coming from and then come back, you still need the signature of this person. Without that, you can't enter again. Even though your visa is allowed. And you have to let them know exactly, because before they sign,
problem, they are the people they are going to contact.
All right. So make sure that you check some of these things. All right. So at this point, we are going to take questions. I've dropped the link. Let me drop it again. If I think, let me see. Yeah, so I just send the link into the chat box again. Click on it and then request to come and then ask your question. Any question at all, we are here for you today. Myself and Ella, we are here for you. And if you are watching us, like I said, and you are still a student, I know some people who have come to my DMs and say that, oh, I'm in level 300, I'm in level 400. See, don't sit down on those opportunities. I said there are opportunities on every campus in Ghana, in Nigeria, in South Africa, everywhere. All you need to do is to seek that information.
And
Yeah,
I also want to let those in level 300 and 400 first semesters know that you can also start your graduate application. You don't have to wait to graduate before you start your application. So if your school needs evaluation, go ahead, do your evaluation. You can email the graduate coordinators to let them know, okay, I'm actually in my senior year, or I'm almost graduating. I have 1 semester more to graduate and I want to apply to this program. How do I go about it? Communicate with them and they will show you how to go about it, so that you wouldn't have to wait to apply after your national service. Or because as I'm here, I've got admission to study my master's program and it's a dual master's. So imagine if you are competing with somebody like me for funding, I might even get it before you. So you have to speak to them, and you don't have to wait to complete school before you start your graduate application. You can start now, because these are the time that cycles are open, there are funding and all that. After February, March, it becomes very difficult, because most funding is a first come first serve basis. And now after they've shared the first come first serve, now it turns to interviews. So if you do well, then they give it to you. But if you want the easy way out, you start early and then you can get your funding early.
Start early and get your funding early. Then that is why I shared some of the information on why you should put in your application before the priority deadline. So, and most of the priority deadlines are either December 1st or December 15th, and some schools were extended to January 15th. So we still have some time. You are still not late. Make sure that you put in that application as soon as possible. So use that link to request to come in and ask your question. So before we move on to the questions part, I think someone is asking the reality with Bora. He said, Ella, in 4 words, how would you describe your study abroad experience?
In 4 words, I'll say it's been very amazing.
That is it. It's been very amazing. So, guys,
I've been able to get family here. Like, the support is so overwhelming. Trust me. Because most of these white people, they haven't traveled out of even the United States. So they want to learn more about your background. They want to know your experience. They want to feel what you are feeling. So most of them are very nice people. Very, very nice people. Mostly, all the time, I say that apart from Ghana, my second family is here. It's been very amazing. Trust me.
Very amazing. All right, so we have one person on the line, Clement Azure. Clement is one of my key followers. Yeah, so Clement, unmute and ask your question. Clement, can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead.
Clement.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and your good words. God richly bless you. And thank you, Emanuela, for this wonderful information. We are blessed for knowing you.
Thank you.
I think I am being motivated by your live shows and many other things that you do. But I have gotten an admission at one particular school. I've submitted my bank statement for an I-20, but I've not heard from them since. I have tried getting back to them, but since then I've not heard from them. I don't know what next should I do. Though I had partial funding, but I still left with some huge amount to pay. But I was motivated by Aaron's inspired to continue the process, and that is what I'm doing currently. So I don't know
Yeah.
what should I do now.
So as you've submitted your bank statement for your I-20, I would say call them, email them. I'm not an email person. Mostly I would call them. So if you can do these MTN bundles for international calls, you can call them. And with my school too, they had a WhatsApp number. So I don't know if you can check on the school's website to see if you can find their WhatsApp number too, so that you can WhatsApp them if anything. So call them, let them know that, oh, you've submitted your bank statement, but then you haven't received any response. Sometimes they may be working on a lot of people's I-20, so they might have forgotten about it. So call them, send them an email, call them, where make sure that you are constantly in touch with them so that they would work on it faster for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
you are welcome.
All right. Thank you very much for joining, Clement. And don't give up. Like I told you earlier on when you came to my DM, start the process. You are fortunate you have partial funding. See, I know someone who had just $5,000 scholarship out of
Some
like
people didn't even
45,000 or even 15. Some people didn't even have. They got their visas approved. They got
Approved.
here and now they have their assistantship because they have gotten their visa. They are here. Your case is different. Don't always compare yourself with anyone. You are unique.
Yes,
Your DNA is unique.
that's
God
true.
created you. You are unique. So see yourself that way. That if someone was denied with a deficit of 50,000, that doesn't mean that even when you also have a deficit of 50,000, you'll be denied. I know people who
And
had a deficit
also,
of 5,000 and got denied.
some of
So-
you even have funding, but then they were denied. What will you say about that? People
Right.
have funding, but still they are denied. So don't compare your journey with anybody.
That is it.
Don't
Just
do that.
don't compare yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Right.
Believe
Thank
in
you very much,
yourself.
Clement,
And during the
for
interview, make sure that you're able to defend yourself. Don't allow them to put anything that is not you on you.
that is it. All right. So Clement, continue with the process. And like Ella said, and this goes to everyone watching us. Currently, we have close to about 70 people watching us across my social media handle. Now, make sure that, like Ella said, I'm the email type, I'm the call type.
Yes.
If I put an email and within
24 hours, I don't get a response.
You even don't worry, not even 24 hours. I'm not even pressuring you. Maybe you have other things doing. I give a week and you are not responding.
I cannot give you
next thing is to start with calling. So do the MTN IDD bundle and start with the calling.
I'm in a hurry. I cannot give you a
All
week.
right.
After 24 hours, no response, I'm calling you. So because of that, they gave me their WhatsApp number. I used to WhatsApp them mostly, even on weekends.
Yeah, that is it. Get in touch with them. All right, so let's continue because of time. He said, I started my application the very day the portal was open and got admitted into a different program. Different programs with no funding. Right now, I'm discouraged from going ahead. What would you say to such a person?
Is it a different program from what you applied, or?
I'm sure maybe he's talking about different programs. Like he has applied to many this thing, because if you watch like the trend of the question, say I started my application the very day the portal was open and got admitted into a different program with no funding right now and discouraged from going ahead. All right. So basically, I think the person is discouraged because there was no scholarship or something, no funding.
So one thing that I want everybody to know is, don't just do your study abroad process because it's like everybody's coming to abroad. Like you are doing it anyhow. Oh, let me just choose any program and come. When I come, I'll find my way out. Do it with the right intentions, because mostly I'm always like, people see, people might not know your heart, but God knows your heart. And I wouldn't say that everybody whose visa was denied had a bad intention, but some way, somehow, these visa officers, it's like they know our hearts. Because even you as human, if somebody comes to you and they are saying something and then the person is lying, some way, somehow, you know. You should know that these people they are not freshers doing their job. Some of them have been doing the job like 20 years, 30 years. So some way, somehow, they know our hearts. So whenever you are doing this study abroad process, I would say that do it with the right intentions. Don't just say, okay, everybody's traveling abroad into dance the crowd or befa writing. Even if there is a bachelor's degree in writing or a master's degree in writing, you will take it and come and do. Sit down, think about your future. Think about your experience so that you wouldn't come here and get stranded or end up like anybody else or fall out of status. Think
All
about your
right.
future before you start these processes.
Thank you very
So
much.
the lady
Now,
that
one
said
of
she didn't get funding, I would say if it is something that if it is a program that you think it has like a bright future, go ahead with it.
all
Keep
right.
emailing
So
them. You might get funding along the way.
now, one of the things that you also want to be very careful about is don't follow the fact that maybe I have these friends in this school, so this is the school I want
Yes,
to go to. I
yes.
know people who will say that, oh, I want to go to Ohio University because I know a lot
I
of
have
people there,
friends
because I
there.
have a lot of friends there and other stuff. See, people who even go to places that there are no Ghanaians, they even get more funding.
That's
Target
true.
the snowy places. Target the
That's true.
places that are very cold, like North Dakota, Wyoming, Alaska, and the rest. These are places that there and people don't like going there. People want
Yes,
to
they
come
want
to
to
Texas.
stay.
You know, Texas weather is very cool. People want to go to places that the weather is, friendly and other stuff. See, if other people have been able to survive there, you can also
You
survive there.
can. You
So
get
target
close
those
to
places.
make sure that you are warm. You get close to,
Right.
and it's only cold when you are outside. Mostly inside is warm. So,
That
and
is
then
it.
I when I was even applying to Boston, I didn't even know that they had like a thriving Ghanaian community here. I actually didn't even want a school that there are Ghanaians, maybe one or two be. I don't want even few blacks so that it's like your case is unique. So they will
Right.
attend to you with utmost urgency because these people, one thing that they don't want to hear is you saying you are racing against them. It's a very big issue for them. And it
Right.
has
Thank you.
it has like a footprint on the school's name. So they will do anything to make sure that you are doing well. So don't say my friend is
Okay.
in this school, so I want to go there. That might not even be your school. So
Right.
yeah.
So someone is asking, Jangla is asking, is it possible to apply for PhD without a supervisor and still get funding? All right. So let me answer this question. So, Jangla, with PhDs, most of them are research based. I'm here to discover a PhD program that is just course based. I know most of the master's degrees come with course based and then thesis based. So you don't necessarily need a supervisor to get funding when it comes to masters. But when it comes to PhD, majority of them, 99% or even 100%, they are all research based. So you are actually going to work with someone in a research someone is doing. So you need a supervisor. That one, you need a supervisor to get the funding because they have gotten like research grants, okay? And then now the money is there. So maybe NASA has given them money, or maybe Amazon has given them money to do research into this. And you also have that passion to pursue that, research. Then your research can align, and then you
Online.
tell the person, let the person know your research interest and everything, send your proposal and everything, and you can get a supervisor and then get the funding from there. So most of the PhDs, that is how it works. But then sometimes some of the schools, they don't even necessarily need you to get a supervisor before you can do the application. What you do is do the application. When you do the application, if for instance the department selects 10 people for PhD programs, some of the schools I know, when they select the 10 people, all the 10 people are funded. So
Funded.
as long as you get funding, you get admission, you are automatically funded. So you don't even need to get, a supervisor prior to applying. Because I know some of my friends at Urban University, at Montgomery, some of my friends at Miami, and then Boy State and the rest. Most of them, they didn't have to contact any supervisor. They put in their application, and then when they were admitted, they were told that, okay, we admit students that we can fund them. So we have admitted you, and in few weeks we'll be sending you the funding package, and that is it. So yes, you have to cross-check with the schools. Like I said, some of the schools will require you to get a supervisor. So just take note of that. Thank you very much. Now, someone is asking, can I start the visa process even before gaining admission just to get the interview date somewhere in June or July? Oh, so it's right unfortunate. You can't start the visa process before gaining admission, because the visa process, you will need an I-20, and is a document that allows you to be able to even go and book your date. So you can't go ahead. You can't go ahead of time when you don't have the admission. So the first thing to do is to get the admission. If you ask that, can you start the visa process without funding? That one is true. You can start the visa process because you have the I-20, you have admission. Then you just submit your document, the bank statement, to get your I-20. Then with the I-20, you can fill your DS-160 and start it.
I think.
Yeah, Ella, I want to say something.
I think there's a way to go around that. When you are filling your DS-160, you don't necessarily have to like submit it.
Yeah, you don't submit.
Yeah, so you can actually fill it, and then the spaces that needs like your DSO information and all that, you can just input some data there and save it, and then go ahead, because you need just your your application ID to book a date. So you can actually go ahead and do it, but you have to make sure that as at the dates that you have booked, everything is intact.
Right.
Because you can't actually go for your interview without an I-20 or an incomplete admission. That one would be but then as students too, you are eligible for emergency dates. So I don't think you have to like rush through the process. You can take your time, or you can go ahead, fill the DS-160, you don't submit it, and then get a date, and then work from the end to the start. But you have to make sure that by the time you are going for your interview, you have everything intact.
All right. Is it advisable to email them weekend, or is better weekdays? It's better weekdays. Weekends, most of them, they don't work. So that's one thing. The Americans, they don't work on weekends. And if it is family time, weekends is family time. They won't even
Friday,
get
even
close.
if you email them Friday 5-1, they won't respond.
Yeah. So just take note of that.
The office. So.
All right. Thanks for the insights. Jangla was saying, okay, thank you too. Yeah, Aaron, I want to know whether is it mandatory for a recommender to use an institutional email or organizational email? Yeah, so it's mandatory. And like I said, you can use the normal Gmail. And your question, institutional or organizational, is the same thing. So organization, in terms of maybe when your recommender is coming from the industry, like where you did your service or something, yes, they can use that email. Or institutional if the person is a professor or a lecturer. But aside that, the person cannot use the personal email like a Gmail, Hotmail, or those kind of stuff. They can't use it because most of the US schools realize that some of the students are trying to be smart. They will create emails using like their professor's name or something, some links, and then they will do the recommendation on their behalf. So they realize that, and now they want to be very strict. So you can't. So what you do is, even now, you don't take hard copy of recommendation letters. All you need to do is to get the details. Exactly. So get the details from the recommenders. Then you input it during your application process, and then they will contact the recommenders to now do the recommendation on your behalf. So it's rather unfortunate you can.
Application authentic. It doesn't look like
fraud. Yeah. Right. Okay. Someone is saying, what is the prior time to apply for fall intake for master's degree?
Now. Your time is now.
That's it. Your time is now. Let's move on. Let's move on. How to get assistantship? Steps. can we get assistantship program for our first semester? I don't get this question. I mean, you said how to get assistantships. You want the steps to get assistantship. And you were like, can we get assistantship program for our first semester? Yes, if you mean like can you get assistantship in your first semester? Yes, I came to the US and from my first semester, I got my assistantship while I was in Ghana. So assistantship is like an employment. So based on your resume, based on the experiences you have, you apply to assistantship positions on campuses. It is not, I mean, it's not a one way to say that maybe you just have to apply to only your department. Like maybe I'm working the mathematics department, so I just have to apply to the mathematics department. No, you can apply to the business department, mathematics department, even the international office. You can apply if they have an assistantship position available over there. So all you need to do is to apply. If you get that, I mean, offer before your visa interview, yes, when you get here, you start the process, and from your first semester, you are funded. You have the assistantship. So it's not that like you come and then the assistantship will start maybe the second year or something. Yes, you can get your assistantship whilst you are even in your home country preparing to come.
And
Then,
some schools like Ball
okay.
State don't even give assistantships in second semester, like in the spring semester.
Right.
You wouldn't get like funding unless you have to wait for fall, like the next semester.
Okay. Someone is asking, I applied for public administration, but was denied and was given interdisciplinary studies, which came with no funding too. Yeah. So, I mean, if it came with no funding, you want to do MPA. I mean, the school you are talking about is not the only school in the US. There are thousands of schools, guys. There are thousands of schools. See, I don't, because this is an international page, I don't want to talk in my local dialect, but there is something they say in my local dialect that if this town is not accepting you, or you are in this town and it's not working out for you, don't stay there and disgrace yourself. Move to a different town. Maybe the next town will accept you. So if you have applied to this school and the program, they didn't accept you and they denied you or other stuff, and you are still eager to go to that school, see, there are thousands of schools. So if school A didn't admit you and didn't give you funding, school B will give you. So try. There are thousands of schools. And currently, I'm on my YouTube channel now. Let me show you. So if you come to this part, the playlist, if you come to this playlist, you can see I have like 8 videos over here. Now, these 8 videos, all of them are like study abroad programs that I have done. And these are schools I've covered close to like 70 schools that are offering assistantship. I was shocked when I came across University of New Mexico State University, their communication program. They were paying students.
This meeting got.
They are paying them close to like $2,500 every month. Master students, which even PhD students are not even getting. So if you check here, there are a lot of schools that I've covered. So go and check it out if you are someone looking for assistantship. I've done a lot, and I share how much they are giving you for that very program or that very assistantship. So please make sure you check it out. And not only that, there are other videos too that you can check. You can check out. As of now, we have 43 videos, and we have some shorts and other things sharing information with you. If you are also watching us, this very video, how to evaluate your transcript for free, is a video that I did about WES, World Education Services. That helps you to know how your GPA is going to be even before you start the official application process. So if you are someone who is, suffering from a low GPA, or like you want to boost your GPA or something, or the school you are applying to, they said they require an evaluation, and like Ball State require an evaluation, and you need to do it. Please do your possible best. Check this video out. I've done a step-by-step approach where you will be able to go through it and then know how your GPA is going to be. So there are a lot of things that you can get on my YouTube channel. Make sure you check them out. Now, let's go back to the questions. Some of the questions.
And I also wanted to say something brief about her question.
Okay, go.
You can also email them to find out why they changed the program. Sometimes some programs require certain GPAs. and your GPA might not meet that, like what the school requires for that program. That is why maybe they give you another program. Some schools might deny you without giving you any other program. So I would say email them and know why they gave you another program. And if you think what they said, you are not convinced, then you can go ahead and look into another school, because
Okay.
it could be maybe a problem from your end. But if you're able to find out what it is and then improve upon it, you should be able to get admission into the program that you want with another school. So she should email them and find out why.
Okay, good. So email them and then find out why. If you check, someone is asking, we appreciate your good effort, Aaron. Please, can Spantran evaluation also boost your GPA? All right, so I don't know for Spantran, but most of the people that have done Spantran, I've not heard anything about boost. It's either the same thing. So for the only one I know as at now is West that boosts your GPA. And like I said, you can know before even you pay the money to do anything. So that video is on my YouTube channel. I've titled it "How to Evaluate Your Transcript for Free." So do that one, and then it will show you how your GPA is going to be when it's evaluated into the US system. Spantran, I'm not sure it boosts your GPA. Someone is asking, let me see. Beauty, I can see you want to request. I can see you at the background, but then they say your device is not connected. I think you have issue with your network, so I really want to bring you on board. So make sure you get somewhere that the network is very good, and then request again, and I will bring you on board. I can see you at the backstage, but then your video is not showing, so I can't even add you to the stage. Please, I have also applied in same school at Emanuela. Have submitted all my documents, but haven't heard from them. Please, should I call them or should wait for a while?
Please call them.
Period. I don't know how many times we should say this thing. It's just like 25. It's not even 25. I mean 2 CD 50 pesos for that IDD bundle. Just do it, and then on a weekday, check the time difference and call them. So someone is saying, is Joel. So the person who asked about the Spantran, I think Joanne is saying, I use Spantran and I regret it. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's only West I know boosts your GPA, and I'm a living testimony about that. My GPA was 2.58 when I graduated from UCC. When I did the West evaluation, it shot to 3.2. And I know someone whose GPA was 2.41. That is third class. They did the evaluation and it came to 3.1. Wow. So it all depends about how your courses and the grades you got at some level of your academic journey. So yes, try the West. Like, it wouldn't cost you anything. That's why I said that video is there. Go and watch it on my YouTube channel. I've titled it How to Evaluate Your Transcript for Free. It's a step-by-step approach. I've done everything, and you just follow everything. And by the time you realize, it will show you how your GPA is going to be. And most of the people who have watched the video, they have come to my DM to thank me later that I thank you for doing such a video for us, because I didn't know that my GPA could shoot like that. And now I'm going to put in, and they've all put in their application, and most of them have even gotten their transcript evaluated. So yes, check those things out. And I'm not doing this to, it's not like a marketing strategy, because I don't have any affiliation with World Education Services. It's just to help you. It helped me, and that is why I'm sharing it with you. I don't have any affiliation with World Education Services. Please, how much is the evaluation? Someone is saying, how much is the evaluation? So yes, the evaluation cost, like, as at now, is like, in total, everything should cost like $237. Yeah. What is the code for that MTN call to the USA? I've forgotten the code, but it should be, if you dial *138#, you should get some problem. I think the set of
you should check Google. You just do IDD bundles for MTN.
Yes.
Give you
give you the code.
Yeah.
They should be able to give you the code. Good day, sir. Please, if you apply to a university and didn't get admission, those of you who have been typing, is it that sometimes it's an oversight, because some of the English you guys type there, we have to use this thing Grammarly. I'm just kidding. But I mean, this is public, so when you are typing, just try as much as possible. Good day, sir. Please, if you applied to a university and didn't get admission into the program in math PhD for fall 2024, can you apply for a master's degree program in math for the same university for fall 20? Yes.
Yes.
You are allowed to apply to as many as you want. If you want to apply for even a second bachelor's, they will accept it. You want to apply for a PhD, a master's, they will accept it. So any program you want to apply for, yes, you can apply for them. So if you have denied you for a PhD, it means that even when you apply for the master's, maybe you might qualify for it. Maybe your standard wasn't, or your credential didn't meet that of the PhD. Yeah, so go ahead and then apply for that of the master's. Those of you asking the questions, can you just request and come live and ask? My HND was 2.87, UCC top up 2.1 after evaluation with Spantran. I had 2.7. This is not a question. All right, let me just get that one off. So someone is asking, in relation to the question I asked earlier on, I have submitted my application to Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, but one of my recommenders gave me the normal Gmail, which he uploaded the documents. What should I do?
So I wanted to come in with this. If the person submitted it with the normal Gmail, he should make sure that it's on their company's letterhead. It also makes it valid, because if the person doesn't work there, how would the person get the letterhead? You get it? So if the person is submitting it from their normal Gmail, they should make sure that they are submitting it on the company's letterhead, and it makes it valid too. So
all right, thank you very much. So someone has posted the code. It's *138# option 6, exactly as I said, which means I remember things, Charlie. That's good. It's been years. All right, my worst evaluation is still not in it's 3 weeks now. They gave me November 1st, 2024 estimated date. Yes, estimated. So estimation doesn't mean that the exact date they are bringing it. Please get it right. Estimation is an approximation. So they are saying that between that period they will get it to you, and just know that it will come very soon. I mean, if they give you November 1st, then you'll be expecting it in the coming week, right? Thank you very much.
you can
let's
call
take
them.
all right. So let's take this one. Good day, Aaron. I applied to Illinois State Agribusiness and I wanted a thesis option, but the graduate coordinator email and he was like, there is a non-thesis offer available for fall 2025. Aaron, should I take the offer? Yes. Why? I mean, if the thesis you want to do, if it is a non-thesis, go ahead. Come. If they will give you the scholarship and everything, go ahead and come for it. If you are done with it and you want to do a thesis, you can go and do a PhD in the same related program or the same field, and then do your thesis if that is research you really want to go into. I mean, you still want to go for that. All right. Someone is asking. Oh, is it not asking? His Excellency Aaron, God bless you so much for this great effort, using this medium to be a great blessing. Oh, thank you very much. This is my youth president. Bishop, I salute you. Bishop, I salute you. Mr. Samuel Bray, thank you so much for the words of encouragement, and also to Ella for making time to come and join us. All right, so Ella, I think we have exhausted most of the questions.
There's one question in the private chat. I don't know if it is to me or to...
All right, let me check that. My school lecturers doesn't have official email. What should I do? Hey. Your school lecturers don't have which school? Beauty. Which school? Because if any school
lecturer has an official email.
They have an official email. There shouldn't be like personal emaal.
Yeah.
There should be an official email. All of them, unless
email that
was
is given
employed.
you at whatwasschool.edu is the same email that they should use, or they can make sure that it's on the school's letterhead, and then you can submit. They can submit it.
Yeah. So I think we'll be ending it here. We have done 1 hour 34 minutes. I would love to go go more. But then, when the video too become very long, it becomes discouraging for other people to watch. So we try to make it brave so that other people can watch even when we are done and it's posted on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook. So in short, or like in the next 5 minutes, Ella, you want to tell us your experience and then encourage someone. I want you to motivate someone today. Our page is Aaron Inspires, and what we do is we inspire people to let them know that yes, their dream is valid. They can also achieve their dream, and as long as they have breath within them, they don't need to give up. It's only the dead that cannot, recover, or that cannot start all over again. Even if you are down today and you have lost everything, you can start all over again because you still have life. I want you to encourage someone today. I want you to motivate someone today about your study abroad journey, like what you have experienced, and then what you want the person to also do. Yeah.
So I would say that if you apply to one school and you don't meet the requirements, move on to the next school. Because if you remember, I said I applied to Georgia State, and what they were asking, I didn't have. I didn't have to waste my time there. I moved on, and another school accepted me. So don't think because one school is not accepting you, you are not good enough. You are very, very good enough. Don't compare your journey with anybody. Know that you are unique. Don't say, oh, because my friend is in this school, so by force, you also have to be in that school. That might not even be your school. So one thing I'll let you know is communicate, whatever school that you want to apply to, communicate with the admission coordinators, the admission team, talk to them, call them, email them, your graduate coordinators or those applying to undergrad, the admission team, talk to them all the time. And then whatever is bothering you, let them know. Don't just keep your problems to yourself and expect them to know, because they wouldn't know. So whatever is bothering you, speak up. And then it's only when you speak up, that is the only way you would be able to find help. And then don't also say, okay, because I don't have funding, so hey, how will I pay? When you get here, you survive. And the last thing, do your study abroad process with the right intentions. Because one way or the other, sometimes you might think, oh, let me just do it. But one way or the other, these visa officers, they know our hearts. So just do it with the right intentions. Don't say, oh, I want to show this person that, oh, I'm good enough, or I want to prove to this school that I'm good enough. No, it doesn't take you anywhere. Just do it
All
with the
right.
right intentions, and then make sure that if one school doesn't pick you, another school will. And you are good enough. You
Thank you
are
very
good
much.
enough.
Right. So do it with the right intention. And the final thing I will also add to it is don't forget God in this very process.
Very.
God should be your foundation, should
Yes.
be should hold you throughout this very process. And that goes to everyone. If you believe in God, you believe whoever you believe in, all I'm trying to say is be very spiritual through this very process.
And I will
I don't
even
want to
say,
downplay on anyone's. Okay.
And I will even say, even before you start the process, ask God so that you will not stress. Well, you will
All right.
ask God, God, which school should I even apply? He will just tell you, oh, apply to you. You might not even have heard the school before. It might not even look it, but you apply, you get your funding, you just move. But if you don't ask God, you want to use your own strength. This is how you apply to a school. They will say no. You apply, funding will become issue. You apply, visa will become issue. But when the time is right and when the school is right, and if God approves it, trust me, the journey is very, very easy. I got my admission within 2 days. But with Georgia, it was like a week back to back. I'll send them email, they'll respond, they'll send me. I'm like, see, I'm not doing this again. So talk to God. Don't use your effort to do anything, and He would direct your path.
Thank you very much. So don't take God out of the process, and always remember that you have to do this whole thing with the right mindset. Just be positive throughout. So finally, we are going off, and let me answer this guy's question, and then we'll be off. So Judge Yeboah said that, what should I do? Now he has already uploaded the document. I think he was in relation to, he said my question wasn't answered. So George, I'm answering your question. If the person has used the Gmail to already submit the document, yes, just, you can't do anything about it. You can't go and retrieve it from their system. So leave it. If there is anything wrong with it, the school will get back to you and tell you that we are not accepting so and so and so. So put in a different distance.
Yes.
Details for the distance, and they'll provide you the link, and then you'll be able to do that. So don't be worried about that. So far as the person has submitted it, that is it. If they were requesting for 3 recommenders and you have submitted all the 3 and that person is part of it, leave it. If there is anything if your application is incomplete because of that very Gmail that was used, they will get back to you. If it is complete, you will get the admission. So just leave it. Don't be stressed out. Okay, everything will be fine. All right, so we'll sign up, and I'll say that it has been an amazing time with Ella. I really love her charisma and everything, and coming on board to come and share her experience with us. Next week, I will come your way again. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but then within the week, I will post it, and then you will know whoever is coming on board for next week. And like we do this each and every week, make sure that you put in that very application. You are just a step away. So it's a gradual process. Don't be intimidated by people's, progress or anything. You are unique. So stay in your lane. Just make sure that you don't sluggish, or you don't stay at one place. Just keep moving to keep your balance, and then get to wherever you are. And before I sign out, I'll always keep saying and telling you that, remember that your dream is valid and you can achieve it. If some of us were able to make it, if Ella was able to come across some information on campuses and was able to travel to Denmark for 2 weeks, lived there, and then went to France for 1 year, and then now moved to US and currently pursuing a bachelor's degree, all from GAMPA, then you can also make it. So like I said, this very information, they are on various campuses. UCC, myself, I've been there before. KNUST, University of Ghana, GAMPA, UPSA, a lot of them, they have affiliation with universities across the globe, and you want to go and seek some of these very information. They have the money. The money is there to support such people. Like Ella said, she was supposed to be supported with 5,000 euros. She didn't know. When she got to France, she inquired and everything, and now they have to refund every money to her. So yes, the information is there. Don't sit down. Just go out there, knock for those very information, get them right, and then you will enjoy life. Thank you, and has been the experience journey, or the experience series with Aaron Inspires and Emanuela Boateng. God richly bless you. Remember, your dream is valid. And I'll sign out by saying that God loves you. Bye-bye.